Dia cuba ting
Man,
Rafael lagi.
Sista pinggang
Kamrang ti, kamrang ti,
Aku setang memang kau segi. Eli aku free apa?
ang yang enggak, betul
Jumpa.
ti.
Ima.
Ya picha tu memang ti.
Ele secam na bas do
Kawa,
uma namudo ele sa abu. Dia fede
lama je pun tu.
lama ko. Sayang lo dia juga. Atem yo.
In 1511, the Portuguese conquered Malacca. They remained there until the Dutch routed them out in January 1641. During the 130 years the Portuguese ruled Malacca, they encouraged their people to intermarry with local women, and a Euro-Asian ethnic group came about. A language also developed derived from Pidgin Portuguese. Fast forward 500 years into this century, the language is still spoken, but is facing extinction.
Kristang, the word itself says it means Christian. Now, Kristang came about because of the Dutch conquest of Malacca, and the Portuguese who were here before the Dutch were all Catholics. And Catholics are Christians, okay? But because of the Reformation that took place in Holland or in Europe at that time, and the Dutch were reformists seeking out to kill the Catholics. And the majority of them were here in Malacca. So these people ran into the jungles and they called themselves Kristang. They called it the language Papia Kristang, speaking Christian.
500 years from the first cannon fire that secured Malacca for the Portuguese, the creole of the language is left very much on its own to survive.
Mak ben tu mas.
Lebih. Dia cuba ting
Man,
Rafael lagi.
Sista pinggang
Kamrang ti, kamrang ti,
Aku setang memang kau segi. Eli aku free apa?
ang yang enggak, betul
Jumpa.
ti.
But some do not think that their language is Kristang. To them, their language is Portuguese.
The language that you speak is what?
Portuguese.
So your language is not Kristang.
No. Kristang, there's no language.
No language. Kristang is
Kristang
a
is religion. Like you are Malay? You are Malay? Muslim say? Muslim what? Religion. Bangsa? Melayu. Agama? Islam.
But I believe we talk Portuguese. How can the word Kristang come in?
The concentration of Portuguese descendants and speakers of Kristang must be in the Malacca Portuguese settlement. The settlement was founded in the 1930s by two priests keen to preserve Portuguese Kristang culture and heritage.
So you go into the Portuguese settlement and you ask a little child of 7 to 12 years old, Podi Papia Kristang, I'm talking to you like this. Podi Papia Kristang meaning, can you speak Kristang? I don't know. My mother can speak. My grandmother. Then you go to the house where he stays and you ask the mother, don't want lah, I don't know how to speak this language lah. Only my grandmother, when they play cards chiki, they are scolding each other in the language. So for me, I will take that one house that I visited as an example of attrition. The language is dying.
With English as the global language and Malay as the lingua franca in schools, there seems little place for Kristang, and every Eurasian speaks English. Former fisherman Martin Teixeira believes that this small community of 1,500 people won't be in existence for very much longer, even though there is a larger community in the fringes of the settlement itself.
How is the community itself helping itself in preserving the language?
Okay, I think number one is the area that we live in. Okay, I mean helping ourselves is because we still manage to have this homogeneous environment. So the daily activities of interaction is still there. Now, the moment we lose this homogeneous environment, we are going to do a big disservice to ourselves. That is one, I think, of the main factors that will slowly disintegrate this community in terms of its language. we need the help of experts, linguists, to come and do a serious study of the language and how to go about preserving it. On our own, we are struggling to survive. I mean, I can foresee that this community will not survive in the next maybe 20, 30 years. I don't think we will be able to sustain our language, even our cultural practices, because of the encroachment of development, with reclamation, with influence of Western culture and the lack of interest.
They want to be in the times. This is 500 years ago. It is of no economic value, but I say it's of cultural value.
We, to our grandchildren, we talk Portuguese, we bring this language, we are bringing up still this.
We want to upkeep.
If you don't speak to your children or your grandchildren, this will die off. I will think so. The headman also doesn't speak very well Portuguese also. I can tell you, most of them doesn't speak Portuguese like what we speak.
What we are speaking.
Yeah.
Jingli nona, yo kare casa. Jingli nona, yo kare casa. Casa non tem porta, nona clay kare passa. Casa non tem porta, nona clay kare passa. Tem quanto tem, fala não tem. Amor minha coroça. Oh nonna mia, nonna que longe gosta vai. Oh nonna mia, nonna que longe gosta vai. Se eu nunca tomo cam nonna, nunca filho de meu pai. Se eu nunca tomo cam nonna, nunca filho de meu pai.